Welcome to the channel, everyone. In today's video, we'll be doing a full tutorial of the Robinhood mobile app. We're going to be covering everything from how to place stock and options trades to creating watch lists to transferring funds and really anything else you guys may need to know inside of here. But jumping right into it, let's first dive into the general navigation of the app. Starting off with, look at the very bottom of your screen where you'll first find the main navigational tabs, and this is where you guys can flip to your other tools within Robinhood. Now, the very first one there, which is the tab we're currently on, is basically your account summary page. This is simply a breakdown of what is going on in your account right now. Looking at the very top of your screen, you'll be able to see some very basic account information. There you can see what your account is currently worth, a chart of your account value throughout time, and at the bottom, your available buying power in the account. Now, in my case, you can see that this account is practically empty, only worth about $15 in total, and currently has $10 in buying power. Looking at the chart there, you can also see how my account value has changed throughout the day, and you could go further back in time by using those time frame buttons down at the bottom. So at the moment, you can see I currently have a daily view selected, but I could go to a 1-week view, a monthly, a 3-month, a yearly, or an all-time view. Now in my case, I only just deposited money in this account yesterday, so I'm going to go back to the daily view, and then right below that, we can see the available buying power in the account. So as of right now, I've got $10 to spend on stock, options, or crypto. Looking down a little bit further, we can also see my current portfolio of this account, basically just a breakdown of what stock, options, or crypto I am currently holding. Scrolling down a little bit further than that, we can also see a few of the watch lists I have in here. And if I go down towards the bottom, you can see my cryptos to watch list, my tech companies watch list, and that's about it for the account summary page. It's basically just a breakdown of what is going on in your account right now. Now, the next tab at the bottom is your account management page. So if we pull this one up, this is where you guys are going to be making transfers, viewing past activity, and viewing the current interest being paid on your cash deposits into Robinhood. Now, in all honesty, really the only reason you're going to come to this page is really to make transfers, but seeing your recent history could also be useful. Now, moving on from this tab, the third tab at the bottom looks like a little magnifying glass. If we open this up, this is the one you're going to spend most of, if not all of your time inside of the app. This is where you guys can actually pull up stock tickers that we want to look at. Like in this case, I'm pulling up Apple here. And then down below, we can actually see what this company last traded for, what it's up or down for the day, as well as some actual stock info about this company. Now, finally, the last two tabs at the bottom, one looks like a little chat icon. This is where we can see all of the recent messages that we've received from Robinhood or recent activity. Then finally, the last one looks like a little human being icon. This is where we can see the composition of our portfolio. So right here, we can see how heavily I'm invested in stocks and options, and then what sectors I'm currently invested in. Now, don't worry, I'm going to dive into some of these tabs a lot more in depth, but the first thing I wanted to go over is how you guys can create your own watch list. So in order to do that, we do need to come back to the first tab down at the bottom, which is the account summary page. From there, you can see I'm already towards the bottom of my screen where I can see all of the watch lists that I've made. If you guys wanted to create a brand new watch list for yourself, you could simply come down to the very bottom and select Create a New List. From there, a little pop-up comes up asking you what you want to name this brand new watch list. In my case, let's say I wanted to create a streaming watch list, companies that are known for streaming, like Netflix, Disney, Apple, those kind of guys. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and name this my streaming watch list. So go ahead and type that in there. And I could also change the little emoticon up at the top. So let's go ahead and click on that little light bulb icon. And I'm going to scroll through this list and see if I can find like a little TV icon. Maybe it'll be in the objects. Let's see here. Yep, it's right here. It looks like actually more of like a computer screen, but we'll go ahead and click on that one. From there, now that I'm happy with the little emoji and the name for it, I'm going to go ahead and hit create. Now that I've got the streaming watch list pulled up, I actually need to add some symbols to this list. So let's go ahead and click on that big green Find Stocks button right in the center. From there, I can then come up to the search box and actually start typing in the symbols that I want to add. For this first one, let's go ahead and type in Netflix, NFLX. We'll find it in the list down below and then hit the little plus sign on the far right-hand side. As soon as I click on that, you can see it switches over to a green check mark telling me that Netflix has been added to this new watch list, and now I need to add the others. So we'll delete out Netflix, type in Disney here, find it in the list, then hit the little plus sign, and then finally the last one I'm going to add is going to be Apple, AAPL. Now that I'm happy with all the symbols I just added, I'll come up here to the X button in the upper left-hand corner, and now I can see my brand new streaming watch list. If you ever wanted to come here and add additional symbols to this list, you could always come up to the upper right-hand corner and hit that little plus sign. From there, we could then search for additional symbols to add. Like let's say we want to add Discovery. I'll go ahead and start typing in Discovery here. And it's actually the very first one on the list, the Discovery Class A shares. I'll go ahead and click on that. Now that I'm happy with this new symbol, we'll hit X. And now I can see my brand new watch list and Discovery has been added. Now, if you guys ever need to edit the name of your watch list or just delete some symbols out of this watch list, you could always come up to the three little dots in the upper right-hand corner. From there, you could hit the edit button if you wanted to edit the watch list. You can then rename it if you wanted to. You could change that little emoji icon, or you could just outright delete symbols by hitting the little X button on the right-hand side. Once you're done, just come up here to Done, and then back to the account summary page. From there, we can then see the streaming watch list I created, as well as the other watch lists I have, like tech companies and cryptos to watch. But I think you guys get the idea. Creating and customizing a watch list in here is incredibly easy. Now, moving on from that, let's actually pull up one of these stock tickers and really break down that stock profile page. So looking down here in my streaming watch list, let's say we wanted to take a closer look at Disney. Let's just go ahead and click on that one in the list there. From there, it brings up the stock profile page for Disney, and we can see there that Disney last traded for $133.79, and it's up $4.76 today. Now down below, we can actually see a daily chart for Disney, but if we wanted to change the time period, we could click on the weekly view, the monthly view, 3 months, year, or 5-year view. You also have the ability to change the chart type if you click on that little squiggly line on the far right-hand side, and it'll change it over to a line chart. The other one that you have the ability to see is a candlestick chart. Now, moving on from that, if we scroll down a little bit, it'll give you a little description of what this company actually does. So it'll tell you how Disney actually makes its money, what they do. Right below that, we can actually see some important stats for the day. So right there, you can see what Disney opened up at for today. You can see its high of the day, its low of the day, and you can see its yearly range between its high and the low for the past year. So right there, we can see Disney has traded as low as 128.38, as well as high as 198.54 in the past year. Now, just to the right of that, we can also see its volume so far to the day is 6.35 million shares. Its typical average, though, is 10.9 million shares a day, and its market cap is $243 billion. Now, scrolling down a little bit further, we can also see some recent news articles that have actually mentioned Disney in the article, and we could go ahead and click on those if we wanted to read it. Now, finally, this is also where you're going to place trades on the stock. So let's actually go into that next. Let's go over how we can actually buy and sell stock of Disney in this app. Now, in order to do that, we simply need to hit that big green trade button in the lower right-hand corner. From there, a couple little pop-up windows are going to come up asking us what we want to do. Do we want to trade the options on Disney, or do we want to buy the shares of Disney? In this first example, I do want to go over trading the actual stock itself, so we're going to hit that big green buy button. And as soon as we click on it, it will bring up an order ticket to buy a dollar quantity of Disney stock. So if you look in the upper left-hand corner, it currently says dollars, which means if I were to type in, let's say $5 right here, this would buy me $5 worth of Disney, however many shares or fractions of a share that could get me. Now keep in mind that when you do this, this is a market order. So if you wanted to change that, you could always come up here to the dollars box in the upper right-hand corner. And from there, you can actually see all the different order types available to us. Now, the first two at the top are market orders, and it's buy in dollars or buy in share quantities. So those, again, are market orders. Right below that is the ability to place conditional orders. The first one kind of speaks for itself. It's a reoccurring investment. So let's say you wanted to buy $10 worth of Disney every Monday. Well, then you could set up a reoccurring investment to buy $10 worth of Disney every week. The one right below that would be a limit order, and a limit order simply means you are specifying a price. You're saying, I only want to buy these shares of Disney if I can get it for this price or better. Now, right below that are a few different stop order types. That'd be a trailing stop, stop order, and stop limit order, and those are typically used to get you out of a position when things are going against you, when you're losing too much money. Now, that doesn't have to be the case. You can use a stop order to get you into a position, but for the most part, you'll be using them to get you out of a position. Now, in this first example, let's actually say we wanted to use a limit order. That's the type of order we want to use, so let's go ahead and click on that. From there, it's then going to ask us what price we want to buy these shares for. Let's say in this example, we only wanted to buy this share of Disney if we could get it for $125 or lower. So you can see there I just typed in $125. From there, once we get the price set, we're going to hit the continue button down at the bottom. It's then going to ask us what trading hours we want this order to be good for. At the moment, you can see it says market hours are currently selected, so that would be the regular market session, 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central Time. If you wanted to change that, you do have the ability to select the extended hours. That would also include the pre-market and the post-market as well. Now, Robinhood doesn't have much of an extended session. It's only 30 minutes before the market opens and 2 hours after the market opens, so 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. But if we wanted to do that, we could. Now, in my case, I don't want to select extended session. I just want it good for the regular market hours, so I'm going to hit the continue button down at the very bottom. From there, the next thing we need to select is the time in force. Basically, how long do we want this order good for? At the moment, the default that's selected is just as a day order only, meaning if it does not fill by 3 p.m. today, just go ahead and cancel the order. The other option you have right below that is a good until cancel order, or GTC order. Now that simply means if the order does not fill today, try again tomorrow. If it doesn't happen tomorrow, try again the next day, and so on until it actually fills or until I cancel it. Now in Robinhood, it's not truly a good until cancel order. You can see there that it's actually only good for 90 days, which would be out until June 14th. Now, let's say I did actually want to use a good until cancel order. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And the next thing I'm going to do is hit the continue button. Now, finally, the last thing it's going to ask me is how many shares of Disney I want to buy. In this case, I don't actually have enough money to buy even one share, but let's say that I did, and we wanted to buy 20 shares of Disney at $125. So typing in 20 there, you can see that listed out down below, it says if this order were to actually fill, it would cost me roughly $2,500. Now, if you actually wanted to place this limit order to buy those 20 shares of Disney, if it ever dropped down to $125, you would simply hit review down at the very bottom. Once you click on that, if you had enough money, it would take you to an order confirmation screen, and then you would have to hit send one more time to actually submit it. In my case, you can see a little message saying that I don't have enough buying power, I don't have enough money to actually trade this, so I'm actually going to hit dismiss and exit out of this order ticket. But I think you guys get the idea. Placing a stock trade in here is actually fairly simple. You simply need to hit the trade button in the lower right hand corner. From there, you need to select the big buy button. Then you just need to tell the system what type of order you want to use. At the moment, it defaults to a dollar quantity, but I could always click on the word dollars and then flip it over to either a limit order, trailing stop, or a share quantity order. Now, moving on from this, the next thing I want to go over is how you guys can actually trade options in this app. So let's go ahead and exit out of this and hit X one more time. And let's actually flip to a different stock ticker. So what I'm going to do is back out of this and scrolling through my list here, let's say I wanted to place a trade on Square options. So I'm going to click on Square in the list here. From there, we can again see a chart for Square. We can see it last traded for 101.12. And down below, we can also see that big green trade button. Now, just like before, we are going to hit that big green trade button, but this time we're going to find the trade options button and go ahead and select that. As soon as you click on that, it actually brings you to the Square option chain and specifically the strategy page. Now from this first page, it's kind of cool. You can actually select where you think the stock is going to go, and then down below, it'll actually give you a few strategies that make sense depending on where you think the stock is headed next. So in this case, you can see that the up arrow is currently selected, and then down below, it'll actually tell you what strategies make sense if you think Square stock is going up from here. So right there, it says you could buy a call option, you could sell a put, you could buy a call spread, or you could sell a put spread. Those are a few different strategies that would make sense if you thought Square was going up. If you were to click on that down arrow instead, saying, man, I think Square is actually going to go down in value from here, it'll actually give you a few strategies that would make more sense based on that. So right there, it says you could buy a put option, you could sell a covered call, you could buy a put spread, or you could sell a call spread. Now, moving on from here, let's say we actually thought Square was going up, so we thought Square was going to go up from here, and we wanted to buy a call option. Well, looking at the very top, we can actually see all of the different expiration dates available to us. So right there, March 18th, March 25th, April 1st, April 8th. And if we come up there and scroll our finger to the left, we can see a bunch of expirations up there at the top. Now, let's say we actually decided to trade the January 20th of 2023 options. So we're going to go ahead and click on those ones to open them up. From there, at the very top, we can then select what we want to do. So in this case, we do want to buy an option, but if we wanted to sell an option instead, we could flip this over to sell. We also have the ability to change it from a call option to a put option by selecting call or put up there at the top. In my case, I do want to buy a call option, so I'm going to flip this back over to buy. And then down below, we can see the available strike prices listed out. Right there, you can see the 115 calls, the 110 calls, 105, 100s, and if we scroll down, we can see a whole bunch more listed out down below. Now coming back up towards the top, let's say we actually wanted to trade right at the money, the 105 calls. We can see just the right of the strike price, the current price of that option. So in this case, the 105 call is currently $23.53. Now, right below that, it also tells us the current break even for that option. So right now, if we were to buy the 105 call for $23.50, we would need Square to go up to at least 128.50 by expiration just to break even. Just to the right of that, it's telling us the percentage move needed for that to happen. So Square would have to go up 26% between now and January for us to break even on this option contract. Now, if we were really bullish on Square and we did think that was going to happen, we could go ahead and click on the current asking price, $23.50. From there, you can see a green highlighted box down at the bottom saying we're about to buy one of the 105 calls. We're going to go ahead and click on that to continue. From there, we simply need to specify how many contracts we want to buy and what price we want to buy that contract for. But you can see it's actually fairly simple to trade options in this platform, and I think Robinhood is probably the simplest platform to trade options on. Now, backing out of this, let's instead say we wanted to trade options on Facebook. So I'm going to exit out of this, and I'm going to come down to the search box at the very bottom, come up and hit the back button and type in Facebook in here. Once I find in the list, I'm going to go ahead and click on it, then select trade in the lower right hand corner, and then select trade options. For this one, I actually think Facebook is going down in this example, and I want to buy a put option. And I'm going to go out to the April monthly contracts, which is April of 2022. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. From there, I still want to buy an option, but this time I want to buy a put. So I'm going to come over here and select put option. Now that I've got the puts pulled up for April of 2022, I'm going to select, let's say, the 190 puts, which are currently trading for $11.18. I'm going to go ahead and click on that one. From there, I'm going to come down to the continue button at the very bottom. And then I'm going to specify how many contracts I want to buy, what price I want to pay for it, and then hit review and send if I actually want to buy this put option. But hopefully you guys get the idea. It's not too crazy to trade options in here, fairly straightforward, but it will take a little bit of practice to get the hang of it. Now, finally, the last thing I want to talk about with options is how you guys can trade spreads in here. So let's go ahead and back out of this and go ahead and clear out this order ticket. Now, let's instead say we were bullish on Facebook, but instead of just outright buying a call, we wanted to put on a vertical call spread. So what I'm going to do is come back up here to the upper right hand corner and flip this back over to call options. The next thing I'm going to do is actually find the calls that I wanted to buy. And let's say I wanted to put on a 10-point wide call spread. I wanted to buy the 200s and sell the 210s. So what I'm actually going to do is click on the current price for the $200 calls since I want to buy those. Then what I need to do is come up to the very top where it says buy and sell and actually click on the sell button. Then I'm going to find the 210 call, which is the option I want to sell, and go ahead and click on the current price, $3.80. From there, once I'm happy with this, you can see at the very bottom there, it says I've got two options selected, and I'm going to go ahead and click on that continue button. From there, it actually brings up an order ticket saying exactly what I'm about to do. I'm about to put on a call debit spread, buying a vertical call spread. Right there, you can see it says I'm about to buy the $200 call for $6.93, while simultaneously selling the 210 call for $3.80. It then says the total cost for this trade would be $3.10 or $310, and then it says the max profit, break even, and max loss for this trade. But if you were actually happy with it, you actually wanted to put on the spread, you would simply hit review and then submit the order. Now, backing out of this, let's go through that one more time. I'm going to clear this out of here. And let's actually flip over to a different stock ticker. Once again, we're going to go over to Apple this time. So type in Apple up here, go ahead and click on it. From here, I'm going to come down to the trade page and select options once again. For this next one, let's actually say I wanted to sell a put spread. So I wanted to put on a put credit spread. So I'm going to come over here to the same expiration, April of 2022. This time, like I said, I actually wanted to put on a put spread because I'm going to be selling a put spread. And you can see there that I do have the put selected. And I'm actually going to start with selling the put first. So I'm going to flip this over to sell. And then what I want to do is sell the, let's say 150 by 140 put spread. So I'm going to find the 150 put here. And since I've got the sell selected, I'm just going to click on the current price. And basically it's saying I want to sell that put option. The next thing I need to do is come up to the top left-hand corner and flip it over to buy. Now that I've got buy selected, I'm going to come down to the 140 put and click on the current price of that, $2.47. Now that I've got both the 150 put and 140 put selected, I'm going to come down to the very bottom and hit two options selected and hit the continue button. Now you can see there a little window comes up telling me I'm about to put on a put credit spread or sell a vertical put spread. Right there, it's saying I'm about to sell the 150 put for $4.85 while simultaneously buying the 140 put for $2.48. And you can see there I'm doing it for a total credit of $2.40. Now, don't worry if you guys are new to options trading or new to spreads. You guys don't need to remember everything I just showed you. That's for those of you who are already trading spreads and maybe are a little bit confused about how to do it. But that's how you trade options in the Robinhood app. Now, really the last thing I want to go over inside of here is how you guys can transfer funds inside of here. So let's back out of this, and we're going to come down to the second tab at the bottom, which was the account management page. From there, you've got that big green transfer button. So if we wanted to transfer some additional funds into this account, we could go ahead and click on that. From there, at the very top of the screen, we could click on the transfer money button, and then we could just type in how much money we wanted to transfer, what account we wanted to transfer it from, and then if we wanted to transfer it to or from Robinhood. So pretty straightforward. Now, I hope this video helps. It really should get you guys off to a good start and get you guys comfortable trading in and using the Robinhood app. If you guys do have any additional questions for me, please feel free to leave them down below. And also, if you guys are looking for other tutorials, be sure to check out the other videos on my channel. But we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you later.